Well, welcome to our last panel today, Emerging Tech in the Radar. We have 4 speakers, and let me first of all introduce them to you, so you know who they are and their companies. We will have first a short presentation of each one of them, so you can know what their company does and what they do there. So we will start with Alain Houard. He's the marine and offshore industries value expert at Dassault Systèmes. Then we have Carlos Mayol. Carlos, he's the sales leader of ports and transportation at Envision Digital. Welcome, Carlos.
Thank you very much.
And then Mr. CHUN, manager sales and operations at the Euro office of the Busan Port Authority. And Miquel Martí, he's the chief executive officer at the Tech Barcelona, the Pier 01, what we know it popularly here in Barcelona. They will present, each one of them, a bit about their company, and then we will jump into the debate. Maybe just recalling our panel this morning, the panel I had with Pantian is around here. We were talking about the last 10 years of the smart ports, how smart ports have evolved and all this new technology coming into our port boundaries. And this panel is more focused on what are the technologies and things we need to do ports, so emerging tech in the radar in the future. We're going to talk more about the future now this afternoon. So let's start with Alain. Okay. Alain, if you can maybe introduce your company and yourself. And I think you have a video. Do you want to play it now?
After a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Alain.
Sound-wise, everything okay? Can you hear me correctly? Yes?
We cannot hear.
So. Yeah, right now.
Just let me know if the sound is okay and we'll get started. So, welcome everybody. Thank you for having us in this last session of the day. So I am Alain Houard, working for a French company called Dassault Systèmes. Dassault Systèmes is actually a large software company headquartered in France with offices in 140 different countries around the world, 25,000 employees, supporting 11 different industries. One of them is the marine and offshore industry, and within this industry, of course, we focus on ports and ports authorities and logistic companies. So today I'm here to tell you what kind of emerging technology we are providing to this industry, knowing that we benefit from working with these other industries for more than 40 years, automotive, aerospace, cities, life science, and we are bringing all these technologies now to the maritime industry. The ports focus started 4 years ago, around the time actually as you started the Smart Ports initiative, gathering all the ports together. And I want to show you through this video the type of technology that we can introduce to help ports work better. So here actually you see the benefits of working with a digital model of your port to be able to plan ahead of time for layout of the port facility, to be able to plan for containers delivery to the port from the ship operators, to be able to keep track of the pollution of the harbor, both in the air and at sea, in the water. Once we have the digital model of the port, we are able to actually simulate all kinds of behaviors, as you can see here. So we're talking about emerging trends and emerging technology. This is actually what we can bring to the table as part of our experience working with other industries. This modelization just requires to be able to get I would say a representation of the terrain of the harbors, which we can get now from satellites, and to populate it with, I would say, the location of the cranes, for instance. So that's for my introduction to the type of technologies we provide.
Thank you, Alain. So maybe now we give the floor to Carlos Mayol from Envision Digital. Please, Carlos.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Emma, for the kind introduction. Thank you, Smartport, for having us. It's a pleasure. I'm quite excited to be here with London friends. So I'm playing at home. This is my hometown. So you know that I'm a merchant marine. I have some experience, more than 25 years in the shipping business. And right now I'm focusing on helping the ports, the shipping and the transportation industries to help their transition energy to achieve the net zero goals, strategies at Envision Digital. Envision Digital is the leading technology provider solution company. We are based in Singapore. We are more than 1,000 employees, quite focusing on R&D. That again, we are providing solutions to achieve the one of the most relevant challenge and opportunity for sure in the shipping business. It's how we reduce our footprint emissions, how we reduce our demand consumption, and how we can help companies to generate a new revenues. This is something important. So in this sense, it's what we are doing. I can explain a lot of things, but we prepare a short video that in short is explaining what we develop. It's not a project, it's something that it's done, that we collaborate with Port of Singapore, PSA, and I don't know if the video is there. Yeah.
Explain.
At the end of the day, it's what we did with them. It's the short video. It's, roughly speaking, let me put the focus in three principles, or three legs. The first one is how we help them to optimize the port operations and decarbonization of these port operations. Hot topic. Take into account how is the evolution, how is the regulation and so on, that I guess that we'll talk later on. How we reduce the demand of energy consumption. Hot topic, take into account that it's 3-4 times the energy cost for in the current times in comparison of the COVID outbreak. And again, because in the logistics, it's money talks, it's quite important how we help them to generate a new revenues, streams, and outcomes for the company. And it's what we are doing thanks to artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. Roughly speaking, I don't know if the video my colleagues are explaining. This is the testimonial from PSA. I know that you can hear it. I strongly invite you to have a look in our website. That it's explaining much better than me, by the way, what it's the performance of the company, the value proposition, that for sure, it's the hot topic, by the way, of the smart ports. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Now, CHUN, you here in this panel, you are the only port. I mean, I work for the Port of Barcelona, but I'm the moderator.
Yeah.
So maybe, CHUN, you can tell us about the very interesting digital twin project you have at the Port of Busan, because I mean a port is like a city, it's very a large subject, so I would like you to focus on the digital twin.
Okay.
Please, CHUN, go ahead.
I'm working for the Busan Port Authority. So basically, we are focusing on being smart. I mean, like last year, Busan Port handled about 22 million containers, TEUs, during the year. So, but like we are, right now, we are focusing on being smart and being green instead of just the number of the containers we handle. So, to do so, we believe that digital twin technology is the tool to being smart. A lot of new ports in Busan, we are introducing the automation system in the terminal operating system, but we are using the digital twin technology to being smart. So we are doing we specify one container terminal in Busan Newport, which is called PNIT. It's a PSA branch terminal operator in Busan Newport. And PNIT, the terminal, is the test bed for the digital twin project of Busan Port. So it could be a good example of introduction of the digital twin technology in Busan Port. So this year, we are finishing the phase 2 project of the digital twin project, and we are going to spread the digital twin technology for all over the terminal operators we are trying. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
And I
Thank
think,
you, Chan.
we are showing this is the actually result of the digital twin technology test bed in the PNIT, in the Busan Newport. So, as you might know, digital twin means like visualizing and making it possible the simulation of the port. So it shows the test, the result of the digital twin project. And we have 3 different tasks. So one is the ship routes, which you can see from the screen. So we guide the ships, the shipping lines, the optimal way of coming into the terminal or going out to the terminal. And second one is the task 2 is the terminal operating system. By making the terminal itself, the yard, to the digital twin screen, the customers, the staffs of the terminal operators of the shipping lines, they can see the platform of the digital twin.
Okay.
So it makes the productivity improvements.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chan. Now our next speaker is Miquel Martí. Miquel is you're the creator of one of the biggest innovation hubs in Europe. We can say that very proudly in Barcelona, actually within the port premises. And you have there 500 startups or companies, more or less. You're going to tell us about it. And Miquel has actually nothing to do with ports.
Absolutely.
Well, your premises are in our, your office or your hub is at the Port of Barcelona. But we will go there after into the perspective of what an innovation hub like yours can bring to ports and technology in general. But sorry, I'm jumping. I'm jumping ahead of the panel session. So Miquel, tell us a bit about Pier 01 or Tech Barcelona.
So first of all, thanks for having us, and thanks for allowing us to bring the outsider point of view to the panel. So it's Tech Barcelona is a non-profit association created in 2013 by some of the top entrepreneurs in the city with the idea of making Barcelona one of the big players in the worldwide league that is being played by all the cities in the world. So almost all the big cities in the world, they're trying to become a tech hub. So in some kind of way, we're trying to do the same from the private standpoint and just bringing together different kinds of technologies, different kinds of companies working in different industries with the idea of combining them all to create new things out of it. So, and the reason why we are at the port is that because we love to be at the port, and we have one of the nicest spots in the city. The other part is that the port is really open to new things coming out from the city, I would say, in some kind of gateway entering the port. And the other part is that we do really believe that new things are coming from new industries. And that's why we are here today, and that's why we're trying to collaborate so much with the port.
Thank you, Miquel. Thank you. So let's jump into the questions. I will start with a bit of a delicate question. I work at the port industry, right, in a port, but I have a feeling when I look at other industries that we are a bit, I don't know, I don't want to say behind the schedule, but I just said it, right? So the thing is, how do you see, because you, Carlos, and Alain, and Miquel, you're in touch with high technology and everything that's going on in other industries, aerospace or automotion or fintech or whatever. How do you see, honestly, the port industry? How is that marching or motion towards being a smart port? A smart port. How do you see the industry?
Yes, maybe I can start. So following actually activities in 11 different industries at Dassault Systèmes, we can compare the maturity of the one or the other. And I've personally worked in 3 different industries, aerospace, shipbuilding, and also energy. So yes, it is true that the maritime industry, if you look at it 10, 15 years ago, was behind. Historically, because actually people were used to all processes, the workforce was not, actually there's a question of margin also. The shipyards, the ports didn't have such a margin that they could invest very fast and a lot in new technologies. But I would say since COVID and since the new regulation about sustainability, all industries are almost, I would say, starting from the same standpoint. It's like the race is starting again. And it doesn't matter where you start from. Take Airbus. Airbus now has to do hydrogen-powered planes. That's the end of an era for departments used to do fuel propulsion. So ports, shipyards, the maritime industry as a whole is facing the same challenges as the rest of the world, and I would say addressing them quite fast, investing a lot, pushed in the back by the new regulations, 2030, 2050, there are some rules and some indexes to respect, but everybody has to follow. So I would say yes, this industry has been lagging over the years, but has caught up, I would say, a lot of its delay and is quite on par now with other industries.
Okay, thank you. Carlos, you are also working at very technological companies.
Sure.
And you have a lot of branches, and ports and maritime, it's only one of them. So maybe
Sure.
you have an overall vision.
Yes.
At Envision.
Yes, and coming backwards, I'm fully aligned with Alain. The point is that the maritime, the shipping and the port business, it's, how to say, it was quite conservative, quite traditional in this sense. But the current challenges slash opportunities, let me put slash opportunities because it's on the other angle that we saw the scenario, bring us a lot of opportunities to accelerate what the industry didn't done during last years. So thanks to Alain already mentioned the current, let's say, regulation, the climate change, why not the consumption behavior of the end users, everything put in the same basket provides a new reality. And on top of that, keep in mind that the shipping business during last 2 years earned a lot of money, and they are capable to afford the new, let's say, challenges that requires a huge investment. So I guess it's the momentum to change this behind the schedule. But in any case, there is a lot of room to improve in this sense, and it's the right moment. And from the Envision digital, what we are sharing or what we are feeling with our clients, it's the right momentum to help them to accelerate what the industry didn't done in the last years, not decades, because there were some recent applications, new laws. I'm thinking of ATS, I'm thinking IMO 2020, something that helps, but it's not enough. So it's the right momentum to achieve it.
Miquel, what do you see from the outside?
I would say that it's not an issue to be a laggard. So it depends in the industry. It depends on the kind of activity you have. It's on a regular basis. For me, it's perhaps an opportunity to take advantage of the different industries that were before you developing technologies. So you can learn from automotive, you can learn from logistics, you can learn from telecommunications, you can learn from tested technologies and then use it. So you know pretty well which are your needs. You know pretty well what things you may use to get it done better. So the cool part is that someone passed through this path before. So the opportunity is just checking out which was the projects, which was the result and the outcomes, and taking advantage of it. That's why it's so important. Listen to the outsiders. So that's why it's so important to just be close to other industries, just having same kind of projects and same kind of problems as well.
Okay. Thanks, Miquel. And Chun, when you developed the digital twin, did you have an alliance with other ports or with private companies? How did you do it?
Basically, the driving organization is the actually Ministry of Maritime and Ocean Affairs. So we actually BPA ourselves. We do the project, but we collaborate with the other private companies, like a university or R&D institution, or some private technology companies like overseas or domestic companies. And I think I heard that his company also involved in the Busan Port's digital twin project. So we are collaborating with different organizations or companies, or some even the ministry. Yeah, and the most important party is the PNIT. I mean the terminal operating company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And because this is a very starting point for the terminal.
Yeah.
It's a test lab, right, for them.
Yeah.
So it's a very new project.
Yeah. For Busan, it's really new, and we call it the POC project, which means the proof of concept. So if it's really successful in the test bed, we want to spread and distribute the system to all over the Busan port. Yeah, that's our goal. Yeah.
Okay, great. I want to talk about environmental issues and digitization. And of course, digitization, it's an issue that we are all involved, ports and industries in general. But I have a feeling, my experience is that we have been so focused on digitalization, and lately that focus went into more environmental issues. And yes, of course, digitization is part of making the environment, cleaner and better environment. But do you think that digitization was too much the focus? And maybe, do you have that feeling that now we're turning more into environmental projects, but digitization was not killing us, but getting all of our attention? Anyone?
Who put the bell to the cat? From our point of view, from Envision Digital, our learnings is that should be a purpose behind the innovation, a purpose behind the technology. The purpose is to continue providing competitiveness, efficiency, certainty, reliability in the operations, and on top of that, let me put the focus on the sustainability, on decarbonization. For sure, it's not the objective for itself. It's the way we get our, let's say, objectives, our goals, the companies, the society, and so on. So, in this journey, for sure, I guess that in the industry, applying the digital industry in the port business, it's the momentum again, because it's where are the key factors that help us and push us to develop through the digitalizations. It's a tool that helps to achieve what we did in the past with other tools, to achieve in such a way, again, competitiveness, why not reliability in operations and everything, and on top of that, sustainability. So it's the way, it's how we do to achieve the goals that we, every single one, put in our strategic plans and so on.
Okay. Miquel, you want to go?
I would say I agree with you. I agree with you that perhaps in the past the goal was becoming more digital, but currently, right now, it's not even a project can be successful without considering the sustainability goals, SDG, and so on. Either in terms of governance, either in terms of execution. So that's one thing that right now it's a reality. Perhaps in the past, since we weren't so aware of what was happening all around us, we were more focused on getting things done without knowing the real impact. And perhaps the goals are a little bit biased, just looking for the effectiveness and be more competitive and so on. But this has changed. This has changed a lot. No one can develop one new thing without considering all the different things that are related to SDGs, not in investment, not in development. So that's what I think.
Okay. Let me go to another question about innovation, because we all know that these new technologies and innovation brought to ports, that is the solution to be more sustainable, to digitalize. We all know that. But I want to know, where do you think that innovation comes mainly and will come from mainly? So venture capitals, startups, scale-ups, port authorities, or big private companies like we see here today. And you cannot tell me everyone, huh? You must kind of decide who will play or is playing a key role speeding up. And how to do it, because sometimes we have a startup coming to a port authority and we do not speak the same language. And we need to, maybe someone to bridge that, or we need to open up more, the scale up needs to work more on the business plan or on the project, whatever. So let me know, I don't know, Alain, what's your opinion?
So of course it's a personal position, but I believe that the innovation at the root comes from startup companies. Startup companies that work closely with the different actors, harbors, technology vendors, etc. But these startup companies come up with ideas, they believe in them, they invest, they do proofs of concept that could end up revolutionizing the industry. I take an example. At some point, a company invented a way to track containers with a technology called RFID. Before, the ship would arrive with 20,000 containers at the harbor. Nobody knew what was in each container, which container it was. You had to go and read the number. Now, before the ship arrives, you know with satellite exactly which container is going to be on top of which one, how to unload them. Mm-hmm. It was a small startup that thought of this process first, and that introduced a technology that I think revolutionized how to deliver containers to a harbor. So I really believe that startups bring new ideas. Those ideas have to be validated against the needs of the industry. And when they are, I would say, well chosen and successfully implemented with one or two references, they become a standard.
Okay, thank you. Miquel, maybe you have an outsider view here again.
I won't argue with you. So for me, one thing it's innovation. So let's do it in another way. So it's about first, knowledge and needs are detected by the users. First thing. So both port and all the different usages you have on the port and different industries you have merging at the port should be considered as a source of unmet needs. First thing. Second thing, it's for me, I agree with you, startups should be one way, but in the end it's about having a startup mentality. So it's about developing POCs.
Yes.
It's about having the proper structure and infrastructure to develop POCs fast and cheap.
Okay.
So it's the best way to do it. So and in the end, if it's worthy, then that's when the big company or big corporation comes over, just industrializing what you're trying to do. But in the end, it's about flexibility. It's about being adaptive to the real needs, and perhaps these needs they're gonna change during the time. So it's about being flexible and being attentive to the real needs of the real users.
Okay. CHUN, you mentioned before that that the research and development department at Busan help you with the digital twin project.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that, because I didn't mention academia, sorry. It's not like I don't have a focus there. Huh? But maybe you can tell us how easy or difficult to have that innovation embedded at the port.
Actually, Busan Port Authority, within the organization, my company, we have the R&D department, so research and development department. So they are like they study the cases and they do the technology introduction to the port. So the digital twin project is one of them. So I believe that related to the former question, I think as a port authority, port authorities could do the leading role or the negotiator between different private companies or different organizations.
Okay.
For example, terminal operators, they are really important for the project, but they are afraid of sharing the private information from their side. They are afraid of opening the information, like sales information or operation information. Okay. So we are kind of like make the virtual database to protect the privacy or private information. Yes. So without port authority or the government sector, it's hard to make one goal because they always conflicts or debates how it goes, how it works. Okay. So as a government sector, I think it's good to bring them, the different parties to the table and negotiate all the topics about the introduction of the technology. So
that's actually a great thing. I think maybe in Europe, I think not many ports have an R&D department inside the port.
Oh yeah.
We have right now we have three at the Port of Barcelona, 3 or 4 PhDs doing a great job, but probably this is something I don't think we do enough in European ports. R&D department to study the cases and help us.
Yeah. So actually, the R&D department is quite new for BPA. Okay. So it's been like 4 or 5 years. So it's quite a brand new organization department within my company too.
Great. Yeah. And sorry, Carlos, you wanted to build up on one of the answers, I think.
No, yes. Well, sure. Thank you. Adding to my colleagues' digital twin, our learnings are again what we did in Singapore and BSA, but some takeaways. It's one solution doesn't fit all. What I'm trying to say is imagine a specific port that you develop a digital twin for a specific terminal. Even another terminal in the same port has different challenge. Imagine a transshipment terminal versus import and export. It doesn't fit this solution to this other different approach. So what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, it's a transition. It's a learning transition that helps to figure out how it works, the digital twins. I'm thinking what developed, for instance, Hamburg many years ago with the bridge, how they, Montreal, what he did it. Daniel Olivier is over there, who could explain us much better how the firefighting and safety. And so what I'm trying to say is this helps, but every single port is different. We have our learnings, and we learn as well, you mentioned, from other industries, because we have our digital twins model for other verticals like industrial parks, like factories, blah, blah, blah. So helps and could be translate, copy-paste the best practices in other industries or terminals, but again, one solution does fit on all.
Thank you, Carlos. I don't think we have much time. No, for questions, no. One question. Is there any question here in the audience? So maybe we're done because we don't have more time? No? That's it. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And let's get smarter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Let's get